Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are, and I'm so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your social media marketing and your business and help you stay social. After all, don't you want to be the business everyone's talking about? I know I do. And I am actually so excited today to have Mair Hill with me. Welcome, Mair.
Thank you, Lorraine. I am so excited to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
And Mair, I would want you to tell my audience just a little bit about you and your company and what you do.
I train entrepreneurs to get more sales, and this was born out of the fact that I am a salesman. I've been a salesman probably since I was 14 years old and started making feather jewelry and selling it at craft fairs. And I think people have such a misconception of what sales is, and really it's just about being human. It's about being an awesome human being and making connections with other people. So my focus is on relationship sales to take the sting, the ickiness, the salesy, the manipulation that everyone thinks you need to do to be successful so that you can proudly say that you are a salesperson.
Yeah. And when I met you, this is like so cool. I actually thought you were a superstar, and you really are. And when I think about sales, I thought to myself when I first met you, was like, sales, is she kidding me? And I want to know something. I was like, why are you so passionate about sales? Why do you like to help people with sales?
I think because it has such a bad reputation. And really, in the end, like I said, sales is about making relationships, authentic relationships, and you can be yourself and still be successful. And honestly, whether you identify as a salesperson or not, you are selling every day, all day. You're selling your ideas to your boss, to your coworkers, to your clients, even to your partners and your kids. Like if you've ever had to make your kids eat their peas at dinner, it was a lot better to convince them to do it than it was to force them to do it. And that's all about sales.
Someday I'll have to tell you about my son's lima bean story. But it's interesting. A lot of people, I had an opportunity, and this was a wonderful opportunity to attend Mair's challenge on sales. And I don't ever how do I put this? I don't ever say that I'm an expert at sales, because I'm not. In fact, I always thought I was pretty bad at it. And there was a lot of just things that I didn't believe, that I could do when it came to sales. And I always felt icky about doing it. And her challenge just made me feel so comfortable. Even she challenged us to make some calls, and it wasn't icky at all. It was just a matter of just catching up with people. And it was as easy as that. One thing I always talk about on this show is that we both of us here, we have a business, and it's not a hobby, and we're very serious about our businesses. And I want to talk to you also because it's I talk a little bit about what somebody does in their business and what they do for a living, but I also talk about the business itself. And a lot of people on my line are thinking about starting up their own business. There's a lot of people out there that want to quit their businesses. What makes you get up in the morning every day and want to do what you do?
Because I know that when I get to talk with people, just like I'm doing now, and I can point out how easy, I always say it's so easy to be good. It's so easy to be good. And when I talk with people and show them really that sales begins with the word hello, and I have conversations like I am teaching a course right now, and I was speaking with one of my students yesterday, and she literally started that conversation with a woman in line last week, and she started with hello. And then I taught her to be quiet, because that's the next thing. You have to be a good listener. And she was amazed at, it turned out that what the woman said was exactly what my student had that this woman needed.
Wow.
And it's synchronicity like that. When you do the right things, when you be that awesome human being for people, that's the space that I live in. And that's really the space that I would love to teach everybody else to live in.
And it really is a great space. I found myself doing that today. Sometimes when I go to a networking event, I have a habit of sort of, and this is my true confession here, I multitask a little bit because I really do have a really growing business right now. And today I just decided I was going to listen. And if I wasn't listening, I wouldn't have noticed that somebody was actually asking for help with social media. So it was like, the thing that's so important in what you're talking about is listening. And in so many ways, we just want to just get out there and we want to, write something or sell something or tell somebody about ourselves. When if we listen, we'll know exactly what our ideal target market is and our ideal client is going to be because we're going to hear it. So one of the things that's very interesting is that I like to talk about a lot is challenges, and not challenges, doing a challenge on Facebook, but challenges that we have every day in our business. Because I think the problem is a lot of people think that it's going to be like this wonderful, magical fairy tale that's going to happen. I'm going to open up a business. I'm going to get tons of clients. I'm going to make tons of money. What would you say is the biggest challenge in your business doing what you do?
In my business, I think because of the space I'm in sales training, I haven't found anybody else that teaches it the way that I teach it. I'm a former business owner, and over the course of the 17 years that I own my company, I literally trained hundreds of salespeople. And my most successful salespeople, made into the healthy six figures and stayed with me for 10, 15 years. And those that didn't embrace the process moved on. So to answer your question about what makes it hard is to tell you that it's really not that difficult. Sales really is not that difficult. And that's one of the reasons why I did that challenge that you took, was to break it down to see exactly where your misconception about sales began. And that challenge showed that there is a basis. And it's probably because you had a bad sales experience somewhere in your life and you think that all sales is like that. So in my marketing, so many experts have suggested that I take the word sales out because it would turn too many people off. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because it is about sales. It is about relationship sales. It is about serving your client. It's about finding out what they want and helping them get it. And that is the foundation for what we do in business. Like, even if you have the best idea in the whole world, if nobody buys it or you don't help them see that, you have no business. Then you just have an expensive hobby. So the hardest part is really relaying that idea that sales is simpler than you're making it out to be.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You just triggered me to just another interesting thing. So the other day I was on a networking call, and one of the poor guys that was on it was saying that he had to make cold calls. And yes, eventually you do have to, like, when you're first introducing yourself to somebody new, yes, that's sort of a cold call. Like, on social media, when you're going into various groups and stuff and maybe helping someone and then going and saying hi and everything, that's fine because it's really not cold because you already introduced yourself a little bit. But getting on the phone and making cold calls, and he had to do this for his roofing business. And I was like thinking, I felt so sad that I just, like, immediately I wanted to give him your name because I don't think, what is your take on this whole cold calling, getting, now today we don't have, the telephone book. So you have to get your numbers, from other places. what do you think about this whole cold calling bit when it comes to sales? Is it something that people should be doing, or is there a better way? And that's probably a whole nother topic. I'm probably opening a can of worms, but just make it short in your answer, as short as you can make it.
Well, I think it's really about making a connection. So if you were to just start dialing, if you had a magic list of all your neighbors, whether it's in your apartment building or down the street, and you were just calling every single one of them, that's cold, right? Although it's actually it's a step above cold, because you could say, I live down the street. So if you can find the commonality with the people that you're calling, it makes it less cold. Hey, I'm calling you because, to call somebody cold like that about roofing is a step above telemarketing. Essentially, you're just cranking out the numbers, and that would be all in your presentation and all in your script. And you would have to be not invested in the outcome to be able to crank out the numbers like that. Because how many times have you received one of those calls and it's clear that they're reading from a script because you say something that's not part of their script, and they can't even address it. They can't address it because it's not on the script, and they just go back to reading the script. And so you have to do better than that. You got to find that connection, whatever it is, even if it's the warmth of your voice, that you care that maybe their roof is leaking and you could fix it. When you can make that come through your voice, it's less of a cold call, and it's about helping people.
Oh, that's awesome. You have a lot of, I wish I could talk to you for hours. But, I always ask this as the last question in my podcast, and I think it helps everybody. If you were going to give one piece of advice to someone out there that struggle with sales, what would that be?
Do what you say you're going to do. I think there's 8 words in that sentence, and you will be head and shoulders above everybody else because nobody does it. When you say, I'll call you back, call them back. When you say, I will send that information, send the information. And the beauty of this that I think people forget about is that you have the power, whether you're going to say it or not. If you say, I'll call you Wednesday, that's your choice to say Wednesday. Maybe they're not asking you to call Wednesday. It's okay to say if you're going to call Wednesday, but then call Wednesday, or don't say it. There's your power. Don't say, I'll call you Wednesday. Say, it was nice talking to you. And if you're in your mind, you're thinking, I plan to call them Wednesday, then mark it down that you plan to call them Wednesday, but don't say I plan to call them Wednesday in case something comes up. If you know yourself, just do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely. That's such awesome advice. And, and then the other thing is follow-up is so very important too. It's like you lose a lot of money if you don't do the follow-up that you need to do. So thank you so much. I want to give Mair a chance to just, she has a wonderful community and she has a lot of wonderful things to offer. And I know that 2022 is even going to be bigger for her. So you definitely want to, how can people contact you, Mair, and get on your list or learn more about some of your courses or, connect with you in your Facebook community? What are some ways that we could do that?
Thank you so much. I think the best way right now is to join my Facebook community, which is Entrepreneurs Who Want More Sales. All the information will be in there when I run my challenge again for 2022, when I announce the opening of my courses again. And in the sign up for there, you have the option of receiving my emails, which is the 10 myths and misconceptions about sales and how to fix them. So that's right on the entry. When you answer your questions, just put your email in there and I'll get you on that list. But Entrepreneurs Who Want More Sales, that's where it's all happening.
Yeah. And yours truly is in the group too. So, say hi to me too. But no, thank you again so much. This was just it's always a pleasure to learn more about you, and you are just so knowledgeable when it comes to sales. So thank you so much. And until next week, I'll see everyone soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.